Welcome. In this tutorial, I thought we would just look at this dingy kind of label I found, and I thought we would just trace the label, some circles, and teach you a couple other things real quick before we get into the other selection tools. So always make sure that you right click and say reset tool. Make sure your feather is 0. Make sure anti-alias is checked. I would hate for you to make selections and then realize that you didn't have anti-alias select, because guess what? You're going to have to redo the selection. It is a pain. There are ways around it, of course, by using refine edge, but it's better to just do this in the beginning. So let's go ahead and select the circles first, because we know we have the tool just perfect for that, and that's the elliptical marquee tool. So we're going to drag, press shift, which will make a circle. And we're going to press the space bar to bring it into location. Perfect. And we're going to make sure that add to selection is selected, because if you press new, it'll start a new selection. Click, drag, shift, press the shift key to constrain it to a perfect circle. There we go. Drag, press shift key to create the perfect circle. Press the space bar to move it into place. There you go. And to do this again, oh, I made a mistake. Well, if you make a mistake like that, just press Control Z, and that will just delete the previous selection, not all of them. Thank gosh. And go ahead and drag and press Shift. Press the space bar to move it into position, and then click, drag, press Shift to make it a perfect circle and drag it in there. Once you have all 5 circles done, I want you to press Control J, or just go to Layer, New Layer, via Copy, and watch what happens. Turn the visibility of the background off, and there's your 5 circles. And notice that the anti-alias around the edges is nice. So now we have our 5 circles. That's great. So let's move on to the next item. How do we select this? Because we have a circle and a rectangle. So how do we do that? Well, let's use the rectangular marquee tool first. And as soon as I do that, it's going to bring back those selections. If it does, let me see if it does it. Okay, no, it doesn't. Okay, good. Press Control D. Okay, so go ahead and draw your rectangular marquee around here to right before when the circle starts. Okay, and now we're going to add to selection, but we're going to select the elliptical marquee, and we're going to create kind of like a half circle. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, press the space bar. As you can tell, this is a little bit more fun. There is a tool to make this a whole lot faster. And you can see here it adds to selection, and I can do the same thing here. There you go, I had a better success with that. You see this little part here? Well, what tool do we have to include that? The lasso tool, and we can press the shift key and draw a little circle around that to include it. There we go. And over here on the same thing, press the shift and drag the lasso around this little spot here. There we go. And then press, you got to select the background again, because if you select layer 1, that's just those 5 buttons that we had, remember? So that's not selecting anything, as you can see there. So we have to make sure that the background layer is active. I'll teach you in the layer tutorials, but we're just doing this quickly. Then press Control J, and guess what? That's going to have this label there. Now make the background layer active again. Now we have this big label on the outside. How do we do this? Well, we could use a polygon tool, but guess what happens? How do you get around the edges with the polygon tool? That don't work too well. Okay, so that's not good. Control D to deselect. Could use a lasso tool, but do you want to draw around that? Look how that's hard. That's not easy. So we know that tool won't work. What tool do we have? Magnetic lasso tool. Here we go. And let's try the magnetic lasso tool. So we'll start here and then move your cursor along. It's not working. It's not working again. Maybe I can decrease the width. Move slower. And there we have it. And then press Control J. And we have our outline. Of course, I'll show you in other tutorials we can refine this. We can fix this without any problem. And there's also another tool that we can use to select this better. But just to give you an idea, the whole point of this tutorial is to show you what kind of selection tools would you use.